All right, guys, I'm starting off in the bottom of my scarf hold position. This is a very bad position. I don't want to be here. So first, we're going to talk about some of the defenses in order to not get submitted, and then we're going to talk about some ways that we can get out of it. All right, the first thing that when I'm in this position is I can't be flat on my back. If he pushes me flat on my back here, I'm going to be carrying all his weight. This is going to be bad. It's going to be very difficult for me to get out. Secondly, I have to get this arm out of his grasp. If he's controlling my arm here, it's going to be hard for me to get out. So I want to make sure I get my arm down in here. And thirdly, I have my hips too close to him. I have to start creating a little bit of space with my hips as far as scooting out. Now, the one thing that you want to make sure is that when you find yourself getting into a bad position, the top guy who's putting you in that bad position has to settle in it. So when you see you're getting into a bad position, you want to in your mind and start to work on getting some of them things so that you're not flat on your back. So if he has me here and has my arm, I want to make sure I'm at least not flat on my back. Or if he starts to get me flat on my back, I want to at least start to get my elbow down. So I don't want to never let him settle with all those elements of his position. So as long as I'm here, in this way, start getting my elbow in, get on my side, got to get my hips out. Now getting out of the position, a lot of different ways to get out. Once I have all those things, elbow down, and my hips away, I'm on my side, I can come over the top here. I can come out behind him here. Start doing a lot of different things. I can push him away. There's a lot of different ways to get out of it, but you'll never get out if you don't have those details in the beginning as far as being on your side, having your hips out, or him controlling your arm. So from here, I'm just going to go over one little escape that I like to use when somebody has me in scarf hold. Right now, my opponent has me in the modified scarf hold position. I want to work on getting out, but before I can get out, I have to make sure that I stay safe. If you're not safe, you're not getting out. You're going to get submitted before you get a chance to get out. So the first thing I want to do for me to stay safe in this position, I have to get my arm back. You see how he's got my elbow away from my body? That's a key component that I'm in trouble. So I have to get it into my body. So the way I can do that is I just pull it in as fast as I can. If he's standing really tight, I can just give a little bit of space with my hips and then pull it in as fast as I can. But I have to have my arm in here. All right, so I'm here. I have to get the arm back to my body. Now, another thing that I want to make sure is that he's not so tight to me that I can't create any space. In order to get out of this position, I need to have space between his body and my body. And if he's so tight on me here, I'm never going to have any space. Even if I have my arm in, when he's so tight, I'm not going to have any space. So the first way I'm going to start creating space, I'm going to take the side of my arm, the blade of my arm, put it on his face to get his face away from me. That's going to create enough space for me to bump my hips up, to start creating space, even more space. So those are the key things. Get some distance between our body, and I got to have this elbow in. Now there's a lot of different escapes that I can use to get out of this position, but all those things remain the same, that I have to have my elbow in, both elbows in, and I have to create space between his body and my body. Once I do that, then I can go ahead and get out. So when I'm here, if he's holding me tight, here, I can put these at the same time. I can pull this and push that at the same time, just to create my space and to get my arm back to me. Now, the defense I'm going to use now to get out will be here. Now he has me in basic side control. This position is horrible for me to be in because he has so many options to finish me. But that's okay because I know the deal. I know what's up. I know how to stop his attack. First things first is I have to have my elbows in close to me. If this arm is extended away from me here, if he's trapping it with his leg in here, it's going to make it difficult. So the first thing I have to do is I have to get my arm back into my body. I have some strength here where I can push off on him. Secondly, I have to keep this arm safe here. I'm just going to also put that into my body. I'll just spin it, swing it around here. In this position, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty safe. But the only other thing that I have to worry about is this shoulder here. He's going to be pushing that shoulder on the side of my face. So once I get my hand inside here, I can put my hand on his shoulder and also take this hand and take his shoulder off my face. These are some of the things that I can do to stay safe from this position. Now, once I'm safe, there's a lot of ways to get out. I can come underneath here, boom, get out this way. I can create the space, get to my knees, or I can even put him in danger. I can go for an arm lock on him. But for right now, I'm just going to use one of the most common escapes when getting out of this position. But once I'm safe, because if you're not safe, if your arms, if you don't have these details as far as your elbows in, you're never going to get out. It's going to be very difficult to get out. Now he has me a side control, both arms passed. This is going to be a very dangerous position for me when he has both arms passed, because now he has both arms to work on my one arm, so I cannot let this position happen. First thing I got to do is I got to get my arms safe. Okay, once you're in this position, you got to get safe. Okay, so now, again, in order to be safe, my elbows have to be against my body. What'll happen is maybe he might be tight with this leg up against my shoulder. It's going to make it hard for me to get my elbow against my body. So for here, I can just create a little space, just bump a little bit, and before I come down, pin my elbow into my chest to here. Get it nice and safe. Now this arm here, got to get it in as well, so I can turn the opposite direction and get that one in. Now I'm a little bit safer, but because he has both arms past my head, I want to be even more safe. So I'm going to even try to get this underneath to here, underneath his armpit. Now I can really work from here, because now both his arms are passed and I give him no access to my arm. Otherwise, if I'm here, he can still grab it. So I want to get this a little bit safer. So now I'm here, I'm under one armpit, the other one in his hip. Now from here I can get out a lot of different ways. I can replace my guard here. I can come out this way. I can roll over to my knees and get out. But for right now, I'm going to use a different type of escape to get out. I'm here, he's got me, I'm just going to go. Alright, now he's got me in a different type position, a different type of side mount, where right now he's got one arm past my head, the other one is down by my hip. Now when that arm is down by my hip, that's going to make it very difficult for me to replace my guard. The last thing I'm going to be able to do is get my leg inside, because he's going to block that off. But one thing that remains constant, one thing that remains the same, is that I have to get my arms in position. If my arms aren't in position, I'm never going to get out, and I'm in possible danger of getting submitted. So always, once I'm here, elbow inside my body here, and I'm going to get this one inside my body here, off on his neck. Now once I'm here, I'm pretty okay here. I can survive here, I can breathe. As long as I can breathe, I'm okay. Can't give him access to my arms. A couple of things that I want to do when I'm in this type of position, even though I'm safe, I still have to be aware of what he's going to do offensively. And a way that I can do that is I can just simply put my hands on his body. Not to hold him down, because that's going to take energy, but I just put my hands on his body. And then with my hands, I'll basically just feel his movements. So if I know he's going to move, just because I have my hands on his body, I feel him moving, and then I can maybe beat him to a movement. But until then, I'll just put my hands on his body just so I can feel. Elbows are in, so I'm safe. Then just put my hands on his body so I can feel. Now once I'm here, I'm safe, I can feel what he's going to do, then I can start to plan an escape. Going for the replacing my guard is going to be very difficult, so I may not want to do that. A couple other escapes I may use are, let me turn a little bit so you guys can see. From here, I may want to swim my arm underneath, come around this way, or I may swim underneath, come around, replace my guard totally, or he might slip up. He's got his hand there. I can come through, grab his wrist, throw it inside, and triangle him here. So it's a lot of different things I can do. Or one of the most common escapes for me here will be the elbows in, hip out, and Okay, now I'm being trapped underneath the north-south position. This is also another dangerous position to be trapped in. Again, you have to be aware of what's going on and know what his options are so that you can defend that, you can combat whatever it is that he's going to do. All right, from here, I definitely want to have my elbows close to me. I can't let my arms get extended out here. So no matter what's going on, I'm always going to want to have my elbows as close to me as possible. Also, I want to use that same theory that I talked about as far as putting my hands on his body so that I can feel what he's going to do or when he's going to move. Because before he moves, he has to kind of tighten up a bit. So I want to make sure that I stay loose and relaxed and just place my hands on him so that I can feel where he's going to move. Now from here, once I get here, I want to create a little bit of space. To do that, I'll just take my hand, if you can see, the one that's over his shoulder, I'll just take that hand, slide it underneath his neck to create a little space. So it's going to be difficult to do it here. I can't get inside here, so I use the other hand, create a little space. Once I've created a little space, I got both arms in. I can bring my knees in to start to work from here, maybe throw them over, or whatever it is that I want to do. Or the next one, initially I create that little space here. Then I get both arms outside, climb over the top. Or what I'll do is, I can feel his balance. Also, when I'm here, I have to be able to be aware of different things. I'm feeling his back, I feel where he's going to move. I can look at his legs and feel his balance. If I notice that his leg isn't based out and he don't have a lot of base, I'll trap his arm bump and roll him over. A lot of different things you can do from here, but one of the most common ways to get out is just initially to create some space, boom, push off, and go to your guard. Okay, now he's got me in a reverse mount position. This position is more of a transitional position when I'm going against guys that maybe are really flashy or a good mover, or especially leg lock guys, because this gives them a lot of access to my leg. So that is something that you have to know and understand. That this isn't a common stabilize and control position. It's more of a position that they're going to use when they're going to try to attack your legs, or they're just kind of working around your body. Now, the only submissions really that he's going to have from here are on the legs, so you have to know this. So why have your legs up? If you ever get caught in this position, immediately get your legs down. Now you just limited all his options from this position. Now, when I have this position here, a couple of things that I can do to get out is I can push off on his knee, try to scoop my hip out and get a knee in for a knee, for an elbow escape here, get out here. Or, truthfully, if I'm in this position here, he can't see what I'm doing here, I'm just going to put my hands on his backside, push off, strip my hips out. That's simple. As soon as somebody lands here, I'm not going to sit here and let him get tight and start working on my legs. As soon as he gets here, I'm like this. My legs are flat. I'll barely bring one of them up just to get a little leverage to push out, and I'm gone. For me, this is one of the worst possible positions to be in, is this reverse scarf hold. And the reason why is because you can't see anything past his body. And you can't see anything. All I'm looking at is his back, and I'm feeling control here. So there's nothing I can see. So this position is horrible to be in. So you gotta work on some things that you can do to first be safe, and then secondly to work on getting out. Now, first of all, always you want to have your elbows on the inside, and you don't want to give him too much access to your arm. So one thing I don't want to do in this position, I don't want to take this underhook here, because then he's going to have access to come on my arm. So I'm okay here just leaving this arm here. Another thing I want to do is I have to be careful for him trying to mount me. And because he has so much access here, he might try to mount. So if I can reach for his foot, I'll just reach down and grab his foot. As you can see, I'm going to turn here, and I'm going to reach down and grab his foot here. I can feel when he's going to mount, or at least, deter him from mounting just by grabbing his foot. Now, also here, this is kind of his free hand. Normally when they do it, this free hand is keep it on the hip to keep me from bringing this leg in. I want to be able to control that as well. I'm going to just grab it right at the elbow, in the inside of the elbow, just so I can feel what he's going to do. I won't put it under here because he grabbed me. but I can grab here just because I know that he's gonna, just so I can feel what he's gonna do. So there's a lot of different things that I can do here, but one thing that I have to be sure of is feeling for his balance, because he's gonna be trying to mount, and every time he tries to mount or change his position, he's giving up a little bit of his balance. So once I feel his balance going, I'm always looking to, boom, maybe perhaps bridge him over that way. But that's still not your best bet. Your best bet is just to get out of this position. So for me, as soon as I can, I'm gonna, let me turn so you can see. He has my arm here. So as soon as I can get out of this position, I'm gonna want to bridge a little, get my elbow in, create some space between our bodies, get out. Perhaps I can roll him back over, or I'm just going to get out as fast as I can. But that's a horrible position to be in. You never want to be there, because that position sucks because you can't see anything. Okay, this is obviously one of the worst positions to be in, whether you're doing MMA, submission grappling, jiu-jitsu, whatever you're doing. This is the mounted position. There's a reason why this position is 4 points when you're doing jiu-jitsu, because this position is horrible. It's a bad position to be in. It shows that you're being totally dominated. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to cover how to be safe and how not to stay in this position and how not to get submitted. The first thing I want to make sure is, you see he's got his hooks in our legs here. It's going to be very difficult for me to get out of this position if I don't beat that. All right, when he's got his legs hooked in here like this, I have to straighten my legs here and get them on the inside and put my legs flat. Now, if he's got a grapevine, he's grapevining the legs. Same thing. Straighten my legs, put them together, put them down on the floor. Or if he's got his feet crossed underneath, this way. Got to break it. Sometimes your flexibility may be an issue. If flexibility is an issue, reach, grab, break the grip, come inside. So no matter what it is, whether it's got it crossed here, reach, grab my foot, break it, come inside, get my legs flat. Then I'm going to leave my legs here. I'm going to leave at least one leg down. I can bring the other one up, but if you bring both of them up, all it's going to do is it's going to lock, grapevine, and you got to get out again. So once you get through and you're safe here, you can bring one up, but I'm going to at least leave that one tight. Now, that's how I'm going to deal with the lower part of the mount when he's concentrated on this part and holding me down through here. Now, also, the dangerous mounts are when he's up high. Okay, if he's up here, extending my elbows away from my body, this is horrible for me. He's going to arm lock me. He's going to do something to get me, to submit me in this position. So what I have to do here, one leg up, I can use my elbows to push off on his knees, and I'm just going to shimmy my shoulders back to here. I want to have his weight on top of my hips. Anytime it's on top of my chest, I'm in danger. No matter what venue we're fighting in or competing in or grappling in, this is bad for me. So I have to push back, get my elbows here. And also I want to protect my neck, so I want to be in this position here, protecting my neck with my elbows attached to my body. All right, I can cross my arms, I can leave them here, but I don't want my arms to extend away from my body. Never. This is something that you should never ever do, really. You should never be here in the mounted position. So I'm always going to be like this and with one foot up. Don't put both of them up, because that's when you put both of them up in this position, they'll just slide right back. Then you got to start over again. So now I want to be here. This is the position I want to be in order to get out. Now once I'm here, a lot of different ways to get out. I can trap an arm, a foot, and boom. Go for it. Now if I do that one, don't bring it up too soon. Once I'm ready to go, it's boom. Then I go. Or I can push off on his hips, escape my hips here. This way, if he's riding a little too high, and I can't get my shoulders, I can't shimmy back, I can also come over the top, come out the back door, or one of the most common ones here, boom, just push off on the leg, this way, and come inside. Very simple. Okay, this is the gift wrap position. I'm going to talk about some ways to stay safe in this position and some different options that we can do to get out of this. Okay, first of all, being here, you know, I don't want to get choked out, so I do want to try to put my hand on my elbow here to keep that pressure, because he can put a lot of pressure on my arm, hurt my shoulder. So I want to alleviate some of that pressure by just putting my hand underneath my elbow here. Now, that's really going to keep me safe. Now, in this position is pretty bad because there's not a lot of things that you're going to do to get out. He's got you trapped. So the one thing that you want to do once you get here is you can start to try to create a little bit of space. He has his own arm trapped here if he's holding onto my wrist. So what I can do to create a little bit of space is if I'm pushing this off and not face down, I can actually turn back into him just a little bit to get flat enough on the floor to where I can bridge and perhaps create enough space in order to get my legs in. So if I'm here and I don't let my elbow hit the floor, I'll come back this way. You see he's got his arm trapped so he can't base. I can bridge and perhaps get a leg in and then work to come up. Or another option that I have in order to get out, he's got the gift wrap here. And let's say I can't get my elbow up, he pushes it down to the floor. Now, if he does that, I'm going to go this way. I'll turn this way a little bit. And when I turn this way, I don't want to turn up and give up my opposite hip on this side to where he gets his hooks in. Now I have to defend against the rear mount. When I turn over, I only want to turn over just a little bit, enough to get this arm in to push his foot back to come here. Now once I'm coming here, I can push my arm away. Now I'm in half guard here. Or to get out, I can actually do this. Just come here and he pushes the elbow down. All right, I got kneaded stomach here. He's putting a lot of weight on me. This position is terrible. Just like all the other positions, this is terrible, but this one's extra terrible because he's pinpointing a lot of weight on me. Now, the first thing I have to do is I got to stay safe. I'm safe here as long as my elbows are in. If I extend my elbows, this is bad because he's going to take one of them. So I have to keep my elbows in. Now, from here, what I want to do is I want to look for the direction that his knee is pointing. Okay, if his knee is all the way across my chest, there's no need for me to put my hand here. It just gives him access in order to submit me. But if his knee is here, what I can do is I can actually come underneath his leg this way and push off here and off balance him. That's if his knee is pointed straight across here. Now, if his knee is pointed this way, this is no good. So once this happens, I got to get it off me. But it's giving me the direction to get it off me. So once he gets it off me, I can push off here and get my hips out by turning and getting it off me. Or if he wants to put a lot of weight on me and he picks his hips up, I have other options as far as submission. So let's say he even picks his hips up even further to pinpoint more weight on me here. Oh, man, this is bad. So once he picks his hips up, I can come through and maybe get a submission. Okay, guys, I just got sprawled on. I went and I tried to take this guy down. He just sprawled on me. And now I'm in a bad position because one, I'm carrying all his weight. And two, I can't really move too well from here. So I have to be very careful with what's going on. And he's got a lot of options here, especially he's got this one over my arm and this one over my, he's got this under my armpit, this one over my shoulder. So I have to be careful for different guillotines and different type of anacondas and Darce chokes. Those are probably the most important chokes that I have to worry about because, you know, it's a dangerous position to be in. Now, so the one thing I want to make sure that I do is I want to protect my neck. I want to keep my head protected here and keep my elbows close to my body. As soon as my arms get extended here, he's going to push them across my face. And then once my arm comes across my face, it's a wrap for me because he can choke here or he can come around and take my back. That's another important detail that another important element that I can't allow to happen. So if he comes around and takes my back, it's going to be dangerous for me. So from here, I want my arms in, and I have to be able to sense. So I'm feeling his movement here. So if he comes around and tries to take my back, if he runs around to take my back, I gotta catch him. That's the only time I'm gonna let my arm escape from my body. Otherwise, it's always gonna stay here unless he tries to run around to my back. Now from here, there's a couple of things that I can do. I can, if this arm is over, maybe I can sit out this way, come around, take his back. I can, from here, I can sit out all the way, spin through. From here, I can step up, go to guard. Or, one of the most important things that I'm really going to want to do is get control of at least one arm. The arm here. If I don't have control of his arm, I'm going to give him free range to do whatever I want. So if I get control of this arm, I can come back out. And that's the most important thing probably when you get sprawled on, is that you can't stay there. You should never stay down in this position for too long. Staying down on your knees is a bad thing. Guys, there's only really one reason why you're ever going to be on your knees. That's to pray. So I'm going to stay here. If I stay here, I'm going to get caught. So for me, I got to get out. So what I'm going to do here, boom. Okay, now he's got me in a turtle control position here. This is also dangerous for me, being that you know, I don't have a lot of offensive options from here. I have to get out of this position as fast as I can. So a couple of things that I want to make sure are in place before I can even get out is I have to protect my neck and I have to protect my arms. All right, he's got this leg inside, which is always going to make it dangerous for me. So I have to protect myself heavily because, you know, he's got access to my neck here. He's got access to my arms. So the one thing I'm going to do first off is I got to keep my arms in here, and I want to protect my neck. So once I'm here, I'm going to get a cross grip on his hand here to keep my neck safe. This is one thing I can do so that I'm safe here. Now, a couple of options that I can use to get out is one thing that you never want to do, more so than anything else, is don't reach for this leg here. This is horrible. This is bad. This is what he wants you to do. So no matter what happens, if he baits you to come here to grab that leg like this, don't fall for it. All right, you don't want to grab that leg here because it's extending your arm from your body. And that's what you don't want from this position. You want to keep your arms close to you here, and I want to control his hands. So once I'm in this position here, if he has me here, I want to keep my arms close, and I want to control his hands. So I'm going to come here, start to break it off perhaps, and control this hand. Now, a couple things I can do from here. I can reach through, grab his arm, pull it a little bit, come around, get a single leg stand up, here, this way. Once I break the grip, if I break the grip, I can step up, go to my guard. From here, you know, one thing again, you want to try to break the grip as fast as you can. Break it here. I can roll through that way, or from here, if he leans over a little too much, if I can catch him leaning a little too much, I can actually trap the arm, get my arm on the outside, and roll through. All right, I'm in a pretty horrible position here, as you can see. He's got me in the rear mount with my face down. This is bad for many different reasons. One, you know, he's behind me. So I'm limited to what I can do because he's behind me, because it's going to be difficult. I can only work on the things that are in front of me. And as long as he puts his hands in front of me, then I can work on them. But for now, his whole body's behind me, and he's got all his weight on me. So that's bad. So you don't really, this is a really bad position to be in. Now, some things that I have to be sure that are in place before I can work on getting out is I have to stay safe. And the biggest thing is to protect your neck from this position. So before you can get out, you have to protect your neck. So when I'm here, let's say I'm on my knees. All right, I'm on my knees here. This is very common. This is before he flattened me out. I'm on my knees. I want my elbows in. If my elbows are extended right now here and I don't have control of his arms, he's going to come underneath them and control my wrist. So I don't want that to happen. So I want to kind of turtle my body up to be like a ball here. I want to shrug my shoulders And this is a good defense, is to just cross grip or cross your hands in front of your neck here. This can protect your neck because as his hands come, I can push him away. Now once I'm safe here, it's going to be important that I get control of a wrist. And I want to get two on one. Two hands to one of his. Just hold it like a baseball bat here. Now once I have this, it's going to be important that I try to put it on the side of my neck this way. Because now not only does it keep him safe from choking me out, but it puts his body in a compromising position where he starts to lose his balance because he has nothing holding him up this way. Now if I'm here, it's going to be important I try to get release some hooks, try to throw him off the top. Here, and again, once you have control of his arm, even if I can't get it across my neck here, I'm still okay because it's going to be hard for him to choke me out with one hand, especially if I'm sitting back like this. If I'm up like this and I'm controlling his hand, he's going to choke me out. So once I have control of his hand, even if I can't get it across, I still want to sit back like this and protect my neck using my arms. Now from here, I can start to work using my hands to get the hooks out. Get the hooks out and try to bring my knees to my chest. This will be safe for me if I'm here. Now, if he flattens me out, here, this is bad too. This is real bad because now I don't have a lot of mobility. I can't move. It's going to be hard to control his arms from here. So once he flattens me out, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. It's a bad position, but it's not the end of the world. What you want to do once you get flattened out is you want to turn your hips to the floor this way. Turn them to the floor. Try to get your hip on the floor in between his feet. So once it happens, he flattens me, I'll turn my hip into the floor, and I'll take my opposite hand and push off. So I'll do this, pretty quick here. So I'm here, he flattens me out, I'm just gonna create space and come out. So if you can see, what happens here is, underneath, let's just pretend I'm on the floor here and I'm flattened out. As he puts me flat on the floor, I'm going to turn my hip down and come in between his feet. And once I do that, this hand will come on his foot and push it off as I bring my leg through and go to my half guard. So I'll do that again so that you guys can see what's going on. I'm flat here. I turn my hip down. As I'm turning it down, this hand's coming through and push it off. You can also use this arm too on the knee. I come here. Push down, hook the leg, either replace guard or even more so, half guard. Alright, now he has my back, we're facing the ceiling. Of all the back controls, this is probably going to be the easiest one to get out of or stay safe from because of the nature of the position. Okay, the first thing I want to do anytime somebody has my back and we're facing up is I have to keep them flat on the floor and not allow them leverage. And in order to take away his leverage for the choke, if I get my head above his head here, this way, he's not going to choke me. I don't even need to use my hands to stop him from choking me. If I put my head on the floor, he's not going to choke me here because he just doesn't have the leverage to do it. Now, it's not always going to be that easy because he does have control. He is in a dominant position. So I want to have something a little bit better than just leaning back here. So I'm going to try to break his grip. That's so important that I can control his choking arm here. I'm going to control his choking arm. And I just want to, if you want to see, once I'm controlling his choking arm, I'm going to put it on the other side of my head and then grab like this. Not with your elbow open, but elbow down and tight here. Now if I'm in this position here and I'm leaning back like this, I can sit here all day long. In fact, I'm not even really in that bad of a position no more. I mean, he has my back, but there's not really much he's going to do to me here because I'm in such a good position. I'm controlling the back of his arm here and here. All right, now a couple things that you want to look for when somebody has your back here. And an inexperienced guy will cross their feet, thinking that's okay. If he crosses his feet, step over. So if I'm here, he crosses his feet, I step over, lean forward. That's one option here. Also, he may try to lock his legs. He may try to triangle his legs. Let's say he tries to triangle to this side here. I can lean to the side that this triangle on, trap his foot, and lean forward. So you don't want to triangle your legs to the side you fall to. So those are some things that you want to look out for when you're in this position here. And then obviously you don't want to stay here because you can't amount any offense. So you want to get out as fast as you can. You can, once you get to this position here, you can turn back into them, or probably the easiest way is just to get your shoulders on the floor here, and boom, start getting your hips out. Get your hips out and come on top here, or if he's smart, he's going to try to get on top. You end up in your guard. All right, now we're in the, he's got the rear mount now, he's seated on me, and we're sitting down. Now this position is probably a little bit more dangerous for me because he has more options because he's sitting up a little bit. And I can't lean back into him and take away his leverage. He has good leverage here, and if I'm not careful, he can choke me out here, and because I can't lean back and take away his leverage. So I have to be even more careful here than if we were faced up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to control, elbows got to stay in, and I'll be here and I can control like this. Now, from here, the good thing is that because he's sitting on me and I can't lean him back, that means his hips are a little bit further away. So he's not as tight on the hips. So if I'm controlling here, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to use his legs to control my lower body. So I don't have, so I can actually, once I'm safe here, let's say I break this grip here and I get it on this side, his hips are still back. So it's going to be harder for him to control with his legs. So now I can get the hooks out and turn and face him. Or, considering that his hips are back away from me here, I can actually make it a little bit harder for him to pull me to the side by opening my legs up a little bit here. And so it'll make it a little bit harder for him to pull me to the sides. So now here, I can break his grip. It's going to be harder for him to pull me to the sides because his hips are away from me. He's not as close, and my legs are spread in a base. And I can sit up a little bit longer to defend, get the legs off, and face him. Also, another option that I have from this position too is I'm sitting here, his feet are right here. If I can control this, I can reach down, grab his foot, got a submission there. There's a lot of different things you can do from here, but the most important thing that you want to make sure is that when you're here, control the hands, protect your neck, and stay safe until you get out. We're starting from I'm inside his half guard, my partner's half guard here. And this is pretty much a neutral position, and it's really going to depend on who's better at third position. Am I better at my top, or is he better on the bottom? If he's better on the bottom, then he has the advantage. So what I want to make sure is that I do not allow him to be better on the bottom. There's some things that you're looking for to see who's better. If he has this underhook in here, this way, he's going to have pretty much the advantage. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I try to get this underhook back inside, this way. I want to try to get this underhook in. Also, I want to keep him as flat on his back as possible. If I allow him to start moving around and moving his hips here, and he has his underhook here, he's going to come around and take my back. I can't allow these things to happen. So I have to try to keep him flat on his back. Even if I don't have the underhook, I'm going to want to keep him flat on his back. So even if he has the underhook here, I want to come back, keep him flat on his back here so he can't come around to my back. And I'm in a decent position here. But really, I want to try to get this underhook because it's going to be a lot easier to control him here. Control him here and also control his head. Now when I'm controlling his head, I want to, same rules apply as if I was in side mount or whatever. I want to get him to look away, so I want to put a lot of pressure. Put a lot of pressure on his face with my shoulder here. So once I have him flat on his back, I don't want to allow him to turn into me here. So I want to try to keep him here. Another thing I don't want him to do is reach under this leg. If I allow him to reach under my leg and get the underhook, this is bad. He's going to take me back this way. He's going to roll me that way. He's going to have his way with me. So I don't want none of them things to happen. So I'm always going to want to stretch my leg out if I feel him reaching for that leg. If he grabs my leg, if he comes through and grabs my leg, I got to stretch that leg out. Put him back flat on his back. Once I have him flat on his back, I shut his game down. I keep him here, I shut his game down. Then from here, I can go ahead and pass this way, or if I can get him to turn enough this way, I can go ahead and mount. You know, a couple of different things I can do from this position. But the key, don't give him the underhook. Don't allow him to be running back and forth. Another thing he may try to do is he may try to lock down my legs here. This way I'll walk up, boom, get him off me. Now I'm sitting in my opponent's butterfly guard. What I don't want to do is I don't want to raise my body up to where my head is lower than my hips. This would be the worst possible thing you can do, is to come here like this. Because he's going to lift you up off your feet. Now, there's a theory that I like to talk about. It's like almost the alligator's mouth. If his feet are close to his body, it's going to make it harder for him to move. Almost like closing an alligator's mouth and having the alligator open his mouth back up. So once his feet are coming in here for the butterfly guard, what I want to do is I want to collapse on his feet and keep him close to his body. It's going to make it a lot harder for him to lift me up and to work from here. So this is one of the ways that I'm going to stay safe and shut him down, just by keeping my knees here tight, and I can keep him here so he can't work that. Now anytime he straightens a leg to alleviate that pressure, then I can come back, try to pass here, or you know, if he's got really strong legs and he gets that space, if he gets that space, I'm going to try to shut down both legs, because it's fair for him to have one out and one in. If he has both of them in, it's okay for him. So once he comes here, hit me hook on here, I'll just cut it through. Now I'm only dealing with one hook as opposed to both hooks. So the key for me, once I'm in here, is to try to keep his feet as close to his butt as possible here, and not allow him the space to lift me up. Or another thing that may happen here is he may lift me up, stretch a leg through here, let's say he puts a leg through here and go for a foot lock. So if I see him doing this, he lifts me up, boom, cross my feet, keep his legs close, shut that game down. Now I'm in my opponent's open guard. The important things for me is to keep his body square and underneath me. Once I allow him to start pivoting his hips out and getting different angles on me, it's going to be bad for me. I'm going to find myself in a lot of trouble defending a lot of different submissions. So for me to avoid that, I just have to keep his hips underneath me. And then you can avoid almost every submission, every situation that you can put yourself in can be avoided just by keeping his hips underneath you. Now, in order for him to get his hips to move, he's probably going to want to put a foot on the hip, because now he can push off and get his hips to move. So anytime I see a foot on my hip, I'm just going to collapse my hip here, take it off, then come back in. This will keep him from being able to move. So if the foot goes on the hip, collapse, come back in. Now from here, it's going to be hard for him to get his feet on my hips. If he moves, I just follow him. His legs guard still open, I just follow him. Then I'm going to want to amount of offense. I can't just let him just stay down there, because eventually he's going to work his way back into another dominant position to where he can start working his submission game. So from here, I might want to stand up. From here, now once I'm stood up here, I got to stay in a good base, good posture. Never like this, never with my head directly over my hips back. I don't have a lot of balance like this. I'm always going to want to be postured up here. I can put a hand on his stomach to feel where he's moving. Now, the things I don't really want to concern myself with is this area here. I don't really need to be concerned with this area here. I just need to be concerned with his hips and his knees in that area down there. So once I'm here, when I'm looking to pass, I'm looking to pass and just get past this here. So I can put a knee down to here and pass, or I can go the other way and pass. But the essential components of beating this open guard is not allowing them to use your body to manipulate their body to create angles on you. So foot on the hip, break it off. He starts to move, stay with him. Now I'm in his closed guard. This can be a very difficult position to deal with because there's so many different things to deal with when you're in a closed guard. And you're never going to pass a closed guard as long as it's closed. That's the first thing that you have to do is you have to open the guard. Now even before you can open it, you have to have so many things that you need to have in place before you can open it. One, you have to posture. This is the biggest thing, is that if you don't posture, you're always going to find yourself in trouble. If you're trying to open the guard with your head down here, you're giving him access to submit you. So you always have to posture. So you have to be up. Two is you have to have control of your own hands. If he's controlling my hands, then it's going to be hard. I can posture up all I want, but I'm never going to pass the guard. I'm never going to open the guard because he has control of my hands. So I always have to have control of my own hands. At least mine, and preferably his. At least one of his. So first, posture. Two, your own hand control. Three, you got to have his hips under control. So when I'm here, if I'm just in this position, I want to keep his hips close to me, and I want to keep his hips underneath me. Can't let him move out to the side. So I'll take my knees and just get a little pressure on his hips so he can't move his hips. So once I'm here, got hip control, and I have control of my own hands. Those are the three components that you're going to need in order to at least open the guard and stay out of trouble. Now, once I have that, there's a lot of different things I can do to open. I can sit back here. I still have my posture. I can sit back, break it open this way. I can stand up, boom, break it open this way as long as I keep my posture. Or if I'm having a hard time fighting his hands, you know, I can come behind his head and can opener. I'm not going to tap him out with this. You'll never tap out a good guy with a can opener, but it's just a maneuver you can use to get him to open his guard and then come out. Or I can come through here if he has a high guard. Boom, come through and pass.